All right, all right. Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Urban Heat R&B Talk on a Tuesday. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm Steve Gooseby. Thanks for coming back. Rich Sports in the building. How you doing today, Rich?
Good morning, Steve. Always a pleasure, man.
Always a pleasure. And a lot going on today. We got a great show set up for you all. Make sure you hang tight because we got Anthony Robinson Seymour. He's coming on board today. The weather's getting pretty good outside. And normally when the weather gets good, things happen out there in our neighborhoods, but he's doing such great work in the community. We want to get him on and talk about some of those things he's got going on. And also we're going to get into politics. You know, Trump is headed over to China. I thought he had beef with China, man.
Yeah, but it seemed like when that money's on the table, Steve, right, everybody comes to the table to talk about how much money they can make, man.
Right. We're going to talk about your electric bill, of course, the Hantavirus in the World Cup. But before we get into all of that, man, I got to tell you. So yesterday, and how was your Mother's Day, man? You had a good Mother's Day on Sunday?
Mother's Day was great. My mother's no longer with me, but you know what? It's still good to celebrate Mother's Day.
No doubt.
And happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
That's right. That's right. I had a wonderful Mother's Day. Went to brunch at Mom's house. Great time. And then I just happened to had to go down that way yesterday in Roxbury, man. Went to Citizens Bank and to make a deposit. And Dudley Station, man, has changed so drastically. I'm not talking about the gentrification of Roxbury or Dudley at all. Dudley Station, or Nubian Square, whichever you choose to call it, is the new Mass and Cass, the new Pine Street. It is terrible down there, man. Terrible. And it stinks. Trash is everywhere. Needles. And when I went inside the bank was empty. The first thing I said, what happened to Dudley? I mean, the last time I was down in that area, it wasn't too long ago, but it wasn't like that, So I don't know what's going on, but it needs to be cleaned up. I don't know what the politicians in the neighborhood are doing or what they're talking about, but Dudley Station, Nubian Square in Roxbury is a problem. It's a major problem. If you don't, just go down there and take a look today,
Well, one of the things I noticed about, as you say, Nubian Square, Dudley area, they're building a lot of high rises down there. There a lot of apartment buildings, gentrification. One of the things you're speaking on, Steve, which is very true about the area and what's going on, but it hasn't really stopped the increase of them building buildings, charging high market rent. People can't afford to live down there who grew up in the area. So you wonder what's the long-term goal, because eventually I feel like once all these buildings go up, because there's a lot of construction going on.
Right.
Once these buildings go up, they will come in and clean up the area, because what will happen, people like us will no longer be able to afford to live there, and they will make a concerted effort to clean up the area.
And most can't afford to live there now, but we talked about this before, Rich. It seems like it's an easy problem to solve. Just get them out of there, provide them with the services they need, but provide it in the area that holds them. You know what I mean? Where it seems like whatever services are out there right now, it's not even a Band-Aid on the situation.
Well, this is a question I personally ask myself.
Like, who's getting a check? Who's getting paid for this right now?
Well, think about this. When I say our government been bombing boats or just annihilating boats in the ocean coming from South America, allegedly stopping the flow of drugs. But let's face it, the flow of drugs hasn't stopped in our community. I mean, we went into Venezuela, seized Venezuela for the oil, allegedly for the drugs. Well, they never said the oil, but allegedly it was for drugs. The president was taken out of there. But the flow of drugs into the communities has not stopped. When are we going to see the effect of that? No one asks that question, and that's the question I constantly ask. When did the flow of drugs stop? It seemed like the drugs are still flowing into the community.
If you were in charge, Rich, what would you do to fix that problem down Dudley Station and in Mass and Cass and Ashmont Station?
Well,
same issue.
It's really tough when you have the flow of drugs, fentanyl. That's the number one problem right now, and that's a very deadly drug. It's very hard to fix this problem when you have a drug that's that powerful that's coming into our communities, and you have a very high rate of addiction. And let's be honest, if you go down Mass and Cass, a lot of the people from Mass and Cass is not even from the Boston area. They're outsiders from suburban towns, but that's the place that they come and congregate for drug use. And you also have the shelters. And at nighttime, they're in the shelters. Daytime, you're hanging out. And it takes a lot of resources. I mean, if you ever drive through Molina Cass, there's state police, there's Boston police, there's constant ambulance because there's addiction and overdose problems. I've talked to several EMTs, and I tell you, man, I wouldn't want to be an EMT in the city of Boston right now. They're overworked,
right?
Because every 15, 20 minutes they're getting a call, and that takes away from people that have a medical emergencies. Someone like your elderly parents or grandparents, that takes away from the resources that people that really need medical care.
Right.
So it definitely puts a strain on the whole system. I don't know what the answer is. At least one thing they did, they got rid of all the tents for Mass and Cass.
Yeah, but
I don't know what the answer is. At least one thing they did for Mass and Cass.
Yeah, but
but
I
don't know what the answer is. At least one thing
I'm sorry about that. Was that did you hear the echo?
Yeah,
my fault. My fault on that. Yeah, they got rid of it somewhat on Mass and Cass because moms often I'll take her shopping over there, Stop and Shop to get groceries, and they were all over there. They were all in that parking area over there, right in front of Stop and Shop.
Well, you have to remember
they're not completely gone, but
you have to remember you have Dudley, you have Mass and Cass, you have the South End. You have that whole area, the whole Boston Medical Center, because it's a constant flow around that area. Also, South Bay parking lot, Target, the whole area. And one thing, Steve, a lot of people don't speak on, CVS, Walgreens have been closing down in our communities. A lot of our senior citizens can't get their meds as easily as they used to. That's a result of Mass and Cass because of the high theft rate that's been going on. And unfortunately, these corporations have big losses, and they see that it wasn't profitable for them to stay in our communities. And that's kind of sad because the seniors are suffering for their meds now.
When you think about it, when you think about the big picture, I feel like the people that can make something happen with all of that, they have a choice, and the best choice for them to make seems like is to put them where they're at right now. It was a huge problem on Mass and Cass, so they didn't fix the problem. They just moved them to other areas that were a better option, at least for the time being with them, like Dudley Station, Ashmont Station. That's where they are right now.
Well, one of the things about shelters, if you think about it, anywhere you go in this country, shelters are always in the inner cities. You're not going to see shelters in the suburbs because suburban towns where they pay high property taxes not going to go for shelters being in their town. If you remember, Boston mayor and the Quincy mayor was in a battle for the Long Island shelter. They've been trying to open up the Long Island shelter for the last couple of years.
Right.
The bridge, I guess, is fixed. They got federal money, but the mayor of Quincy filed a federal lawsuit. He does not want Boston to use that bridge because he's saying that would bring up a different type of element back into Quincy. And honestly, a lot of the kids come from Quincy into Boston, down Mass and Cass. So I mean,
it's politics.
It's politics, yeah. I mean, when that bridge was no longer in effect, and that's what they've been trying to do. The people in Boston that's into the drug treatment, they've been trying to say we need the Long Island shelter back open.
Right.
Because if you remember, Steve, years ago, there used to be buses that would take everyone over to the Long Island Shelter Treatment Center. Once that closed, and because the bridge wasn't serviceable, then what happened? The whole flow came to Mass and Cass. That's how Mass and Cass was created. A lot of
Right.
people don't realize that. That's what happened.
And I mean, it's bad when they create a documentary on Netflix about it.
Yes, exactly.
So,
So if you basically was able to open up the Long Island shelter again, you would actually help the whole case around the city, because now they got a place to go to, and it's a treatment center that would actually keep people there during the day, and you wouldn't get people just hanging around.
Yeah, you're right, man. So if you haven't been down Dudley Station or Nubian Square, yeah, it's a problem.
But one thing it hasn't done has stopped the price of rent. High rises are going up in Dudley Station. When you drive down Warren Street now, the skyline is nothing but high rises now.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of that, so where my mother lives, she had a great view of the city of Boston.
Oh, wow.
But they put up this building and took away her view. We talk about it all the time. Once upon a time, we could see the fireworks from here.
Oh, man.
Not no more, man.
Now, is that the one on Washington Street right there?
It's it's the building behind that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moms must hate that. She can't even see the fireworks no more.
She can't even see the fireworks no more. Can't see the nice, beautiful skyline she saw once upon a time. Not anymore. Not anymore. All right, so that's what's going on. Mass and Cass, Dudley Station, Ashmont, terrible places, man, in terms of the homeless and drug use and all of that. Let's talk about your electric bill. Weeks ago I mentioned that I had an open house in Taunton, Mass, and this potential buyer came in, and she asked me, is the heat oil, or is it gas, or is it electric? And she wanted to know because, Eversource, they do both gas and electric. And her heating bill was sky high. And she said, pay attention to your bill. I don't cook a lot anyway, so I don't use a lot of gas. And, thank goodness, if you have an energy efficient spot, then that's good. But if you don't, and most of the houses in Massachusetts are very old, you're probably gonna, and if you're using gas, you probably have a large gas bill, especially from this past winter. So I said, all right, let me take a look at some of the charges on the gas bill. I'm just gonna pull it up real quick so our audience can see. So if you're looking at the screen here, right now, this actually isn't that bad compared to other bills. And this came from an energy efficient place. But still, if you look at the different charges, you got customer charge, you got distribution charge, transmission, net meter recovery, surcharge, revenue. What is that? Distributed solar charge. I don't have solars. Renewable energy charge, energy efficiency, electric vehicle program. And the biggest charge is the transmission charge of $13.50. Now, this is from an energy efficient space, so I imagine these charges are much higher. It totals $63 on top of your cost of electricity. So whatever you're paying for in terms of electricity, you can add, if whatever above $63. In some cases, people might be paying $100 or hundreds of dollars more. Again, this is a bill from an energy efficient place, and they're paying $63 in additional electrical services that has nothing to do, in my opinion, with electricity.
Well,
I feel like those charges are just made up, and somehow let's get the people, to pay more in energy.
Well, if you think about it, those charges you just mentioned, let's just say 10 years ago, you got your electric bill and all you saw was the bill. Mm-hmm. Now you see all of these charges. You don't even know what they mean.
$63, and that's a lot.
I mean, it's
in today's economy.
I mean, you have to have a degree to even decipher these charges on there, because I don't know what the hell they mean. But one thing people have to pay attention to, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. AI is becoming big in our world now, but a lot of communities are protesting against AI hubs. We've discussed this before, Steve. AI hubs takes water to cool them.
Right.
It also drives up more electric use in the community. And people are saying, are we gonna burden the cost for the AI charges, or the corporate America gonna take on that?
Well,
And
here's my thought on that.
yeah,
Yes, you will. You see all these charges here with the AI hub, these charges are going to increase.
yes,
They're going to increase because AI, like you just said, one of the biggest things with AI that in order for it to operate, it needs massive amounts of energy.
yes,
Massive amounts of energy. Whether it's like you mentioned the water bill
yes,
earlier today as well. The water bill, you're talking electrical, you're talking gas, you're talking hydro energy, you're talking all kinds of energy, which is, I don't want to move on to the subject yet, but this is why when we talk finances, we always say that if you are invested in the markets, whether you're investing in stocks or crypto, invest in energy, because that is going to be huge in the next, from now in the next few years, once these AI hubs are built.
yeah. AI hubs are needed, and the reason why China is actually ahead of us in AI, and the US it's almost like the space race with Russia. We're in a competitive market with China for AI technology, and we're playing catch up right now. And the American people are going to pay the burden, but that's why a lot of people are protesting. There are some people that have said their water pressure have decreased where they built AI hubs.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're running your water, flushing your toilet, people are really pissed off about the AI hubs in their communities.
Right. And, they should be, because your energy bill is going to go up, whether it's electrical or whether it's gas, the water bill, it is going to go up. But we shouldn't sleep on this. We should not sleep on this, especially when it comes to electing officials and voting and all that stuff. And I mean, AI, we said it 1,000 times, it's not going nowhere. It's here. And we also got to meet the challenge of learning what AI is and how to use it, because when it comes now, folks like you and I, older folks, established, got retirement funds, whatever, ownership of property, whatever. We should be all right. But our kids, our kids going to have to deal with AI. If your child isn't learning AI, get on him about learning AI or becoming an electrician or somehow being involved in those energy services, because that's where it's going to be. Electricians in the next several years, they're good. They're going to be good.
Almost definitely with AI, and also these AI hubs, they're going to need people to work these. I hear it's going to create a lot of jobs.
Right.
But a lot of people, once again, don't care for it in their communities. And let's face it, if you're talking about putting an AI hub in a suburban community where people are paying high property tax, they're not letting these AI hubs come into their communities. It's going to get pushed into a community where there's people, let's just say, low income communities where people are not paying attention, and they're going to pay the burden of it. Any communities where there's high real estate and high property tax, they're not going to pay the burden for AI.
I mean, there's classes being taught on AI, and I'm up on it, and I actually plan on taking a AI class, simply because, again, the next few years, oh man, a lot of things are gonna change. This, place where we live in the United States is not going to be the same in a couple of years. It's not. You got the robots are already here. They've been here. And if you look at the jobs that they're talking about, that are going to be taken over by AI. It's already happening. It's already happening. 300 million jobs gone between now. It already started in the next few years, going to be lost due to AI. Teachers are going to be affected. Even hospitals will be affected. I believe there's a place it's either Japan or China. They have an AI hospital. There's an AI hospital. You walk in, everything is AI. You still have the human aspect of it there at the hospital, but a majority of it is run by AI, from prescribing medicines, doing x-rays. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know about you, Steve, but I've already experienced it on a couple of customer service calls.
Mm-hmm.
With AI generated phone calls. So it's definitely the thing of the future, but it's going to be a fight with people wanting these AI hubs in their communities.
Yeah.
But I think eventually it's corporate America, and they always win in the long run.
Yeah. And bottom line is, get up on the AI. If you got kids, they should be learning AI right now. Now, some of the schools may not be up on it like that yet, and they may even be against it. But I feel like, you can't necessarily wait for them, whether it's the government or whoever's really in charge of it. You can't wait for them to bring it to you to learn, because by then you'll probably be too late waiting on them.
Well, that's just like the computers. Think about it. The suburban kids got laptops.
Hey, Rich, do me a favor. Talk about that. I got to get this real quick. I'm sorry.
Suburban kids always got technology before the inner city kids. So what's going to happen? You're going to have a bunch of suburban kids up on AI. They're going to be smarter. They're going to go to college. They're going to have this technology already. And the inner city kids, are they going to invest in them the same way? Are they investing in the suburban communities? So that's going to be the thing with AI going forward. Is it going to be a level playing field when it comes to AI?
Right. I'm sorry about that, man. Something like I'm a real estate broker, as you know. Some calls I gotta get for the simple fact stuff is like happening right now.
So think in the future AI is going to be handling that for you.
Right. Actually, AI could have handled that for me, but I needed to talk to that person real quick.
Yeah.
I needed to talk to them. But yeah, and listen, the class I'm gonna take is so advanced. I can't wait. I'm gonna pay a mint for it, and I actually know the person, but he's very, very knowledgeable, and I'm gonna definitely take the course and get up on my AI so that before this year is out, man, I'm telling you, I can't wait. I can't wait, man, because this is stuff that's happening right now. If you haven't figured it out, or you've been hiding under a rock, the world is changing. It's changing, man. AI, blockchain technology, and we're going to talk about Trump in a second, because you mentioned earlier he's going to China, and he's going with a lot of bigwigs.
That's right.
Tim Cook, who owns is Tim Cook Apple or he's Apple.
Apple.
Tim, the guy who runs Apple.
CEOs from BlackRock.
Yep. Larry Fink from BlackRock.
Yep.
Probably Jamie Dimon from Chase
That's
Bank.
Right.
Now, these are major players. Now, if you ask me, I think BlackRock and Chase has a major part in electing the presidents of the United States.
Well,
they play major roles because they're responsible for so much money throughout the world.
Well, if you're paying attention to what's going on right now between gas prices, oil prices, and the financial markets, I'm not an expert on this, but just watching and listening to these so-called experts, there's a big shift going on in the world in the financial markets right now. And I tell you, taking this trip to China and negotiating with the Chinese president, and China's been think about it, our adversaries for a long time.
So yeah, I'm shocked he's going to China like that.
Now we're sitting down and negotiating with deals and stuff. Man, this is people should pay attention to this, man.
Definitely. I mean, those are major players. BlackRock owns everything.
Yeah.
They got their hand in on everything. And even here in Massachusetts, right, and throughout the country, when it comes to real estate, they are changing some of the laws that affect real estate on a large scale. For example, I believe it was last year sometime, if you were renting an apartment, and let's say you went through me, 9 times out of 10, you're going to pay me for helping you find that apartment. So, and usually it's up to the cost of whatever the rent is. So if the rent's $2,800, I get you the apartment, you're paying me $2,800 for helping you find that apartment. They took that away from us. They came up with a law. And so now the only way for them to pay us is if they actually hire us to help them find an apartment. With most of them don't. Why pay? I wouldn't pay it either. You know, it doesn't make sense. So now we got to get the money from the landlord. What's difficult about that, not that landlords don't or won't pay, they will, but it's just another obstacle we have to go through in order to get paid. I hated doing rentals anyways, and I hardly did them. I did very, very little when it came to rentals. But for those who live and thrive off of that, it's a lot harder. And that's why you see more rental signs up nowadays. You could just be driving through Milton. I see a bunch of them all the time. They're trying to rent the places on their own now. Okay. You know, because they don't want to pay that extra fee to the broker.
So basically, they're cutting out the broker.
Yeah, they're cutting out the broker.
Okay.
And then there's been other laws that, you know, hasn't had a large effect, but when it comes to posting commissions and letting the agents know how much, we don't have to post that anymore. We're not required, you know, as far as doing it the old way we used to do it. We could just post it online what the commission is, and if you're a broker or agent, you would see that. The public won't see it, but as an agent, you would see it. We don't have to do that anymore. You know, there's so many things. So in other words, what they're really trying to do, they're trying to push the real estate aspect of, you know, people like myself out. And what's been happening over the years that a lot of people don't know, BlackRock has bought up so many single family homes over the year. You won't see it under BlackRock. It'll be some other subsidiary name.
So basically you have less houses on the market and that keeps the price up.
For the most part, yeah. But yeah. I think people, you know, the market is busy right now, but people are scared. People are scared because of everything that's going on, and things aren't moving like how they used to move. You used to get a listing or a couple of listings or whatever, put them on the market, and boom, 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 boom. You know, you could sell them. It didn't take as long. You know what I mean? But now you got to work a little bit more harder. You know.
Well, in this economy, do you see rents continue to rise?
Rents have actually come down somewhat.
And is that because people's salaries are not going up as high and they can't afford to pay the rent in these places?
I think it's because the market's down. People don't have the money that they used to have. Inflation is up. Salaries ain't, you know?
Well, yeah, inflation is going up higher than people's pay scale. Exactly.
Right. And look at everything that's going on. If you look at everything that's going on, gas is still $4, high as hell.
Almost $5 a gallon, right, depending on where you go.
Right. Groceries haven't come down that much, if at all, right? There's a lot of inflation going on. Even when it comes to attorneys, when you're buying a house, you should not purchase it without an attorney, without some legal guidance, right? Even the price on that has gone up.
Yeah.
I had one attorney who was ready to charge one of my clients $7,500 just to do a P&S. And I had never heard of that before. $7,500 to do a P&S, right? A purchasing sales contract. And one attorney that I use all the time, he's at $2,500 now. So even on the attorney side, there's inflation there, when normally, you know, there's a particular attorney who always said, I'm going to give you the Steve Gooseby deal. He gave him a good deal too.
Yeah.
He never told me what it was, but I looked at the HUD one day and I think it was $800-900. So that was a good deal.
That was definitely a good
But
deal.
on average, between $1,200 and $1,500, you're going to pay for an attorney if you're going to use them for a real estate transaction, or somewhere within that range right there. But this guy was like 75. I'm like, I never heard of that, man. That just $7,500.
$7,500, yeah.
That's a lot of money for an attorney.
What was it, a $10 million property?
Nah, that's the thing. It's not a $10 million. Now, if it's a $10 million property, I get it, because you're talking about a different aspect of closing costs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that, but nah, we're not talking that type of deal. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Outside. All right, let me let my guy in. Give us 2 seconds. We'll be right back, people. Urban Heat. We're gonna come back with Anthony Seymour and talk about some of the work he's doing in the community. Give us 60 seconds. All right, 60 seconds. Boom. Get your mic on. All right, we golden, y'all.
Yep, we good.
And if you can just adjust, maybe move that camera back a little bit on the computer, set it up so we can get your whole face. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay. I go like this. Boom.
There you go. All right, we good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up one time for my brother, Anthony Seymour. Give him a nice big round. Clap, 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 clap.
All right.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I woke up this morning. I am totally blessed.
Oh,
man.
no
and
doubt.
Thank you for the opportunity to have me come on your show.
No doubt. No, thank you for coming on, man. And we appreciate the work you do in the community, which is why I wanted you to come on. When the weather gets warm, everyone knows the kids need a place to like hang out, right? But of course, in Boston lately, there's been a lot of shootings. We don't want to focus on that too much. But talk to me about some of the work you do, man, keeping these kids off the street, keeping them safe, family safe, and all of that, man. And I know it's a big challenge, but
it's a huge challenge. And back to the shootings, that are very important because we're losing our young people tremendously. It's a shame, but it's happening. We need more infrastructure when it comes to community building, but we need to join forces. I think more than anything in the world, we come up with programs, that only last for so long. But we need to come up with something collectively in the Black community, because that's where it's happening at, to resource these situations and also stand together in solidarity to combat these shootings that are in our neighborhoods.
Right. So you doing your part. But like you said, we all got to do it together. How difficult has it been, dealing with some of the parents, or even do you even deal with some of the parents in this case?
Well, there's always concern. I wouldn't call it difficult. I think it's understanding and education.
Yeah.
That you want to add value to the parents and their knowledge on what's going on. And sometimes, we got kids that are good at deflecting, they're good at hiding, they're good at infiltrating a lot of things. And some of the parents who work, some of the parents who just don't have a clue. If you don't know parents, you're in denial because it's happening for real.
Right. Now, how long you been at you're at the community center on top of that? I know it's the old Lee School. What do they call it now? Or is it still Lee School?
Yeah, I've been out there 8 years, but I won't talk about that. That's my job. That's a city entity. I'll talk about my own program, which is Youth in Crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How long you been doing Youth in Crisis?
We founded it 30 years ago. The biggest thing that everybody goes and comes to that nets about 3,000 families and kids is Scoops and Hoops. That's 27 years. We, with the exception of COVID, we've been still rocking. That's a very well ran event, and resources in the community comes out in diversity. So that program and that event is huge. It keeps going on, but it also resources a lot of people in all communities.
Right. Now, in terms of support, how much support do you get? I know the community is there to support you, but you can always use more resources. Has that been difficult over time in terms of getting? When
you got a good thing, you got a good thing. I have no problems with getting support from a lot of people, and I also help a lot of programs. And if they can hear me, they know who they are. I help a lot of programs resource their programs, and I done birthed a lot of programs without calling out any names. So there's a lot of people in our communities that have great ideas, that are community activists, but also, feel the need to give back to community. And just like this radio station, big ups to the radio station. They always come out and support everybody they possibly can. Anybody who wants their support, they're going to support them. So big ups to you and your radio station. Right.
And what's the biggest? I imagine the biggest need is probably money. You can never get enough of that.
And when we talk about this summer is going to be a difficult one because of the cutbacks. Economically, we are in a down spiral. Right. I think money's needed all over, especially for us working. Stay-at-home parents is crucial for them. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's going to be crucial for people who are working. It's going to be crucial across the board, especially in the Black community. We're going to be hurting. And get ready. We're getting ready to go in a recession. McDonald's is going to be one of the attractive jobs going.
Right. We talk about it all the time, man. I don't think folks are ready for the changes that
I don't think they understand that it's coming.
Yeah.
We're in a difficult state.
Yeah.
And then jobs are falling, and we're what do you say? We're being bamboozled right now.
Oh man, we've been bamboozled for a long time.
But I'm telling, it's right in your face now.
Yeah. Right.
It's right in your face.
It is. Yeah, we talk about that all the time too, man.
And what you're hitting on is right about that, because I pay attention to the news and what's going on, and look at the cuts across the board. They're laying off teachers. They're cutting city programs across the board, and that trickles down to every effect. And we need programs to keep these kids busy, because when these kids get idle and they're just standing around doing nothing, that's when they get into trouble.
Well, from a black perspective, I think all these people in power need to come together, because we're good in numbers, but we sit on different islands. We never collectively come together. If this is a big mountain and I'm looking at that mountain, ain't nobody coming over to save us. We got to stop to believe that we got to begin to save ourselves.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%.
Everybody use the word police. That happens too. But we got to be able to come together collectively, because if you want that amount of dollar that you think you should have, you just can't get it by yourself. It's not going to happen.
That's so true. Yeah. The thing that I'm looking at is like history repeating itself, and we're all from the same generation. Remember when the community centers opened in the mid 70s and they were all the same? We were having fun playing basketball. All of a sudden, come the 1980s, early 80s, Ronald Reagan, Proposition 2.5, just killed it. Remember, we didn't have no community centers for.
Wasn't nothing going on.
Man, we were all hanging out. Yeah. We didn't have nothing
to do. What happened to your local heroes? What happened? He had local heroes that ran those community centers and makeshift community centers.
And you know what? I could say it now. I grew up in Orchard Park, and we grew up.
Right.
You were Mission Hill?
No, Jamaica Plain.
Jamaica Plain. We was breaking into the Orchard Park Community Center at nighttime to play basketball, turning the lights on.
Shout out to JP.
And one of my good friends we grew up with got killed by a security guard.
Right.
They would put an armed security guard in the community center and pay him, but you couldn't keep it open for us to play. And that's what we did. We started breaking in. You got a building that we was used to going in for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Now all of a sudden, Ronald Reagan cut all the federal funding to the inner cities. And if you look around, this president we have now, he's cutting a lot of inner city programs right now.
Well, a great man once said, "No justice, no jobs."
That's right.
No justice, no jobs. That's the economic state we're in today. No justice, no jobs. Until we, as a Black perspective, a Black community, a Black collaborative, get together to move down this continuum, only to be successful if we stick together.
Right. That's very important, man.
Highly.
Now you're highly connected to, I must say. You've helped out several candidates in terms of running for mayor. Has being connected helped you in terms of I guess I want to make that connection between that and getting help with the community. I would imagine it would, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to explain to people where your blessings come from,
right?
Because they don't want to believe it, and sometimes really don't understand it,
right?
I'm not a critic, and I don't want to be a pacifier to nobody, but what I will say, a lot of those opportunities and resources came from a political perspective for me.
Right. No, that's good stuff. Want to switch it up just a little bit.
Go ahead.
Our brother, the late Mark Harris. I know he was involved heavily with the Scoops and Hoops.
Oh, man.
And we all missed the man, of course. Talk about his impact, his legacy somewhat, because you all had a great relationship, of course.
Like brothers. I always tell the story when him and my brother Dill, my late brother Dill, passed July 4th last year. They used to come on. I used to be hanging out on the corner. I was doing other things back then in that day.
We all were.
Yeah. I wasn't big time. I was Tony Seymour, but understanding the landscapes of Boston a little bit different than I understand them now. But the reality was, I used to kick Mark and my brother off the corner. Then you fast forward, he came to me about this radio station. And when this radio station first evolved, and all he wanted to do was great things for the community. He was really involved, especially in the Heath Street area. He did a lot of things over there to help people, but his heart, the compassion, the empathy he wore on his sleeve for communities, unbelievable, especially when it came to the station. And if anybody know the history, we done did massive toy drives up here, turkey drive. I'll come up here and give this station everything. And we're back into that now, but the passing of Mark and his integrity to help community was unbelievable.
No doubt. And, Mark would always, I miss him in the morning times because I would come in here. He always come in here, him and Dita, and, he would always, dap me up and like, Goose, you the man. But I had to always remind him, right? And I don't know if he knew this prior to, but I grew up listening to Mark.
Man, the voice.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine that voice? You can hear that voice. It rings bells because you can never forget it. And Mark Harris. Oh, man. I can still hear him right now.
Oh, man. I had my little transistor radio, RBB.
Oh, my God.
At nighttime, man.
Yeah.
But his heart was in community. His soul was in it, man. He's always trying to, to navigate the next big thing for resources in terms of community, him and his entire radio station, because he couldn't do it by himself. He had his family. So shout out to y'all.
Yep. So and definitely working on something. And before you leave, I'll let you see what I'm working on. But sat down with his son over the weekend.
Mark Jr. Shout out to
Mark
him.
Jr. Great kid too.
Very
man.
Great kid.
And,
very informative.
Right. Very informative. I didn't know he was a film director.
Oh man, he does that. He's a videographer. He does a lot of that.
Yeah, he does a lot of great things.
You ever hear him spit that rap? He's off the hook on that.
Yeah,
he got 16 bars for you.
No doubt.
Right,
no doubt, man. Yeah, we definitely talking about some things, man. So,
big shout out to him because he stays close to this radio station because he believes in his father. He believes in his father's work, and he believes the family.
Right.
He still needs to continue work in honor of Mark Harris. The late Mark Harris.
Right, no doubt. So what's next for your organization, man? I know you got Scoops and Hoops coming up.
Scoops and Hoops is every third week in July, but I also got something that's happening at the Bruce Boland building, the 22nd of this month.
Okay.
Boston Got Talent, big time events and Youth in Crisis putting on a youth talent show.
Oh, okay.
So that should be good. Big shout out to Yoma, pianist. She's one of the orchestrators.
Is that on a Friday night?
It's on a Friday night.
Okay, because I'll be there on that Saturday on the 23rd.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my daughter's a mental health therapist, and she's going to be speaking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything's to showcase our youth. That's what I'm working on primarily this summer because all the budget cuts. And to say we're in need. Mm-hmm. Youth need resources across the board. And, not to change things, but mental health is real.
Yes,
mental health is really
definitely
real, and you could see it in just the shooting yesterday that happened.
Yes,
with the young man Tyler Brown.
Yes,
prayers going out to him and his family and everybody who was involved in that, because I know related to mental health illness. I was told.
Yeah,
but back to what we talk about. Mental illness is one of the biggest things that's plaguing our community, and we got to understand and educate people what signs are. And sometimes you can't even tell the signs.
And you know what, Tony, you're 100% right, because I'm learning from my daughter being in that field. Mm-hmm. She said everybody need to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
Even picking up the phone if you call a best friend or one of your good friends. And she said sometimes don't be ashamed to go get professional help.
Well, I looked at it on Mother's Day. This is the first year, and that I felt I needed to talk to somebody because I'm the only one left in my family. So when trauma happens to you back to back to back to back, that becomes a problem. So, although, hey, big time, boom, 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 but big time needs to talk to some, we human. Yeah. I got to talk to somebody too. And not to, go deep with that, but it just dawned on me. I couldn't pick up the phone to call my brother. That was the last brother I had. Yeah. But they died like back to back to back to back. Wow. And for me, I never had the opportunity to, either digest that, even deal with that personally inside of my mind, because I'm so busy helping others that I forgot.
Right.
Didn't realize I need help myself. Right. So mental illness is key, and I just want to touch on that.
No, but that's so true what you're saying, right? Because losing family members back to back, and we've all experienced. I mean, you attended my sister's funeral a few years ago,
right?
And I thank you for that.
Thank you.
But
absolutely
I
welcome.
know what it is to lose siblings. I've lost a few older siblings the last few years, and sometimes it's back to back. And as much as people see me walking around looking like I'm mentally strong, when you go home at night and relax, man, that's when it hits you. And sometimes you need people to talk to.
And Mark was good at that. He was like, yo, come on, brother, let's go get a drink, man. Whatever we talk about, we got to talk about, because we was on that. Like, how do we support each other?
Yeah.
But me, I suppressed everything that was happening to me because I'm always on the go. But I'm telling everybody, man, sit your ass down.
Yeah, most
Excuse
definitely.
The French.
Right. No, most definitely. You're right. Mental
sit down
illness,
and go look for some help.
And another thing to say, putting it out there, we're the last group of people to seek help for mental illness.
Oh, no, absolutely.
My daughter told me, she said, we're the lowest group to come in and talk to somebody. We have a lot of pride. It's just been taboo in our community for years.
We're led to believe it ain't cool.
Yeah.
You got to be strong.
Well, it's a sign. What people think it's a sign of weakness when you go talk to someone. And, and I'm going to admit it. I've talked to psychiatrists in the past.
Right.
When my mother passed away, I needed to go talk to someone outside the family, outside your friend network. Just talk to a stranger and get a different perspective of things.
Because also you can have your immediate family, but when you got you can have your immediate family, you can have outside family, but when you lose your immediate family, it's traumatization in your mind, but you don't have me, I didn't have the time to process it, but Mother's Day that just passed, I processed it and it wasn't a good thing. But I kind of secluded myself, but at the end of the day, man, we only passing through time.
That's right.
That's right. We're here for a short time.
We only passing through time. And Steve, let me give you some flowers, man. Thank you for, creating a platform on your own accord. I know you talk about love and relationships. And
that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother
shebang.
But that's a big bang.
It is.
Yeah. It very is. You know what I'm saying? We got to navigate systems. That's what we do every day.
Yeah.
It could be a unit, could be separate, but we got to navigate it.
Yeah. And truth be told, it's just all about getting the information out to people.
Absolutely.
Because a majority of the time, folks don't have the vehicle.
No.
We're talking about getting things out, right? Well, this is a platform where we try to get things out. Relationships, everybody goes through it.
Oh, absolutely.
It ain't ever going away. And sometimes you have things that go on in a relationship that it's not good,
right?
But ain't nobody talking about it with you. So when you hear other brothers talk about it, man, we can all relate.
What they say, we say back in the day, life is ups and downs, changes and turnaround.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Of navigating some of them systems, there's a lot of branches to that.
Yep.
But there's some olives to it too.
Right.
Some great olives. Olive branch to it as well. But the reality is, how do you, put yourself in a great situation to move forward, to have a good relationship? Right. And one thing I can say on that is just be honest.
Yeah, just be honest, straightforward.
Be honest.
And in today's world with the technology and everything's going, you shouldn't be playing around. Man, you should not be playing around today.
It says big time on my license plate, so I can't.
Right. Right.
You tell on yourself.
Well,
look at back to gang. Look when they shootings.
Yeah.
Look
they
how
do the videos.
They follow the car from the scene.
And with the camera.
Every camera on the street gets turned on.
Right.
And they follow you all the way.
You're crazy if you don't think facial recognitions don't exist.
Right. It does.
Yeah. And they've been using that
a long time back in our day. Wait, are you kidding me?
That's right.
This ain't nothing new.
And they
revealed everything.
Yeah, you're not getting away with anything now, because every street corner there's a camera, and they turn on every camera.
And they're not just cameras; they're flock cameras.
That's right.
They can see and tell who's in the car.
Right.
If you're carrying a gun in your hand, and they don't, they don't tell you.
Right.
But they can tell whether you're carrying a weapon or not in that vehicle. They got that in Boston Police already.
Right.
Been had that.
Hold on, I gotta look on my camera because I know Beantown Slam is coming up.
Yep.
And I want to get that out there.
Right. But yeah, the one thing too, that message that we try to get across too, the world is changing so rapidly.
Right.
It's an opportunity. A lot of people look at the market being bad as it's a bad time to invest. This is the best time.
Well, another expertise of yours.
Right. It's the
real
best.
Estate.
Yeah, it's the best time. Everything's on sale. Everything. The stock market.
Well, you can go get an apartment downtown in the high rise now.
Yeah.
In Haymarket.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Right.
People are moving out of this community because of the economical recession.
Right. So we got to look at things differently, man, and stop listening to your friends, first of all, because we all know they tell you things. Nobody's an expert on
Steve,
nobody.
hold on. Steve, hold on. I just realized something, man.
What you got?
Gotta check it when I see it. It says BIGTYME. No, that's not the way you spell it. It's just BIGTIME.
Okay.
We got no Y in it. It's I. Big time. I'm always on time. That's what that, And we can't have fun with it. Ain't worth nothing, right, gentlemen?
That's right.
We gotta get that right.
For sure, man.
Right, but shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Urban Heat family, 98.1 FM. Love everybody, all of the personalities. What you got? The Songbird Angelina. You got Dita Weeder. You got Mob Neal. You got oh my God, I don't want to say a name.
Ray Royale.
Ray Royale. No, my girl. She's gonna get the exercise.
Angelina. Stacy.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Marlo. That shout out to her. Big shout out to everybody, Coach Law. If I missed anybody, I love every last one of y'all. You're doing a great job. Just want to give the family a big shout out. Who's ever listening? Shout out to yourselves who's listening to this conversation today. It's very intense. It's very necessary. And thank you all for creating this platform for everybody to listen to, especially what's going on in the neighborhood and how can we be a part of this neighborhood.
No doubt.
Just find a program, just find an organization, a nonprofit organization, find a state rep, find a city councilor.
Right.
Who, it doesn't matter. Just get with somebody, because until we get together from a Black perspective, because we don't need nobody, we happens in numbers.
That's right.
You know, and take the lead. Black men, you especially, because we're dying at alarming rate,
and we can save each other.
Absolutely.
You know, and like I said, man, I follow you and the work you're doing, and man, you got people like Josh Kraft behind you, man. That's amazing.
Right.
To get someone like that behind you,
Right.
man. And
Great friend.
I commend him, you know, for being in our community and helping out.
Well,
I've seen the work that he's done.
So
in our
I'm glad
community.
you said that. He's been doing it over 30 years.
That's right.
You know, he's been doing it, and big shout out to him, man. He's always there. He's always opening his pocket for everybody, and I commend him for that. That's who he is. You know, come from a big family, a rich family, but him himself, he's a gentleman. He's a scholar. I appreciate him. He looks out for a lot of entities and organizations, so in our community. So big shout out to Josh.
Most definitely, man. That's great, man. I mean, the Lord blesses us for, you know, guy like him, man, to come into your life and, you know, and help you out, man, in our communities. Because he, you know, I think he has that talent to look at our inner cities. He see what's going on, and you know, guys like that just have a thing for seeing, you know what, I got everything in life. How can I help somebody
Don't
else?
have to do it, right? Google him. I say Google him. You see, he started a Boys and Girls Club.
That's right.
Basement.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? In Chelsea, you know.
Exactly. I saw that. When I started seeing it, I'm like, this guy's been doing this for years.
And I tell you how I met him. It was crazy how I met him. Toys for Tot. I missed it when, you know how you get the free toys.
Yep, Toys for Tots. That's
and
right.
So they still, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to have a toy. Oh man. So someone said, oh, hit up Boys and Girls Club, Josh Kraft. Here's his email. I said, oh man, Josh Kraft. Oh man. I just email it, never to thinking in a million years that it would email. He hit me right back.
Hit you right back.
Hey, what's going on? What you need? I told him my story. We showed the toys. He told me to pull up at this Boys and Girls downtown. And I never forget I pulled up there in the U-Haul truck, but I had to go back 2 times. That's how many toys was out there.
That's amazing.
Wow.
For me, that was everything. And that was that was way over 10 years ago.
Right.
So I've been this man's friend. We've been friends. We like to call each other brothers from another mother, but we've been cool like that. And I watched him navigate resources to a lot of people.
That's right.
And he continues to do it.
Right. Well, salute to you, man, and all the work you do, man. We appreciate you coming through, man. And our doors are open anytime, man. As long as it's for the community and the youth,
man,
you got our support, man.
Oh man, yo,
1,000.
I hope to see somebody, a radio personality, because I want to talk to y'all at some point.
Yeah.
To really sit back and honor Mark on that day.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Because he's been so close with Youth in Crisis, and he's so close with Scoops and Hoops. He's always been the voice for that.
Right. He's
always been a navigator for that. Big shout out to belated Mark Harris. Continue Mark Jr. to do his work. Continue 98.1 FM. Continue to uplift this man.
Right.
And do what Mark been doing for the radio station.
Yeah, we definitely gonna keep them out there, man.
Yeah. I thank y'all.
Yep. All right, T, man.
Steve, love you, man. Thank you.
Love you too, bro.
Put me in that platform.
Yeah, man. Anytime. English high.
All day, every day.
Y'all had a squad back there. Me and Rich was talking about it, man. Y'all had the mad squad back there, man. Oh no, we
can talk. We can talk.
Yeah. No, y'all had the mad squad back there.
English High, man. They was the most fair team in the city.
They
man.
were.
Nobody wanted to go against English High.
Man. We won a few championships, which was good, man. I had a fun where my teammates was Kenny Brad, Nippy Hall, Kenny
Gumsy.
Oh
yeah,
my
all those
God.
guys. Yeah, man.
Chris Sumter.
My brother
Aaron
Dale. Your
Aaron
brother
Jones.
Dale.
Yeah, you had Aaron playing
God.
God. Y'all, that
We
squad.
had some real play.
Man, y'all had too much talent
Right,
on that team, man.
You know, our only challenge was when, and I give Bishop Dickinson a shout out. We used to play the Latin, and we go over there, man. They used to tear us up every time they had Paul Little. Remember Paul Little?
Yeah, Paul Little.
And
Paul
no one
Little.
know if y'all ever know
went to
Bishop played
University
basketball.
of Penn. That's right, Paul Little. That's
y'all
right.
remember him playing Jimmy Dickinson?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He did his thing on the court. Now he's doing it for the Lord. But man, he was a contender.
Oh man, I used to watch you guys play, man. You'd go to English High, man. It'd be a packed house, man.
Yeah.
Or you guys like won the city championship like every year, man.
Every year, just
man.
that was man. You know, that's when I kind of chose the wrong lifestyle back then. But you know, playing ball was my thing. I remember I had asthma, and I wrote a note saying I could play. I had chronic asthma. I wrote my mother's name.
Not even knowing.
I learned
back then.
Yeah, not even knowing. And now, you know, to this date, I feel like I cured myself because I breathe on my own. I can feel the breath, but that's how much you want to play basketball.
Right.
Almost definitely,
Chuck
man.
Taylor's was the end then back then.
You guys also had the big center, Ernie Floyd.
Big shout out.
Providence, right?
Yeah, I talked to him today. Ernie Floyd, Frank Avant.
Man, you guys were just loaded, man.
We stay loaded.
Your whole bench, you could go 12 deep, man, 11 deep, however many guys was
and
on
then
the bench,
my
man.
brother Dill, he took over.
Yeah, he took over. That's
Oscar
right.
Laskett. Oh, McDonald's.
Y'all just had a monster squad, man. And y'all played like that too. You know?
Good old days, man. You know, man. Yeah. But I thank you, brothers.
Yeah,
thank
great
you, man.
that we're still sitting here, man.
Man, God is good, man.
Later, we're still here,
all right, folks, give us a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. Urban Heat 98.1 FM.
Let's stop for a little pull up in the middle, baby.
R&B vibes only.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, y'all. We just had such a great conversation, man. I was saying the other day, Rich, when I came in here, if there were cameras in here just for the behind the scenes, man, there's like some great, we talk about great things when the mics are off too.
That's right. Most definitely. Yeah.
Great conversation afterwards.
Well, that's when we share our knowledge with each other too. When the mics are off.
The mics are off, and then we try to bring that to you all listening. But so shout out to Anthony Seymour, man, doing a fantastic job with the community. And definitely Hoops and Scoops is coming up. He's got some other things, and we'll keep you posted and how you can be involved and so forth,
So Steve, man, moving on, man. What about this new, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Hantavirus?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
What are we in for, man? Are they telling us everything that we should know?
Well, here's the thing. Let's just start about what it is. If you haven't heard, Hantavirus or Hantavirus, whatever you want to call it, it's mouse or rat droppings, rodent urine or saliva. And if you can also breathe the dust of it. So I guess when the droppings dry up or when the saliva dries up, if you don't clean it or get it up, they're saying you could breathe it.
Also, they're saying certain mice carry it from certain countries.
Yeah.
So allegedly the brown mice that we might see in buildings that we might go in or whatever, we don't have to worry. But right. Steve, New York City, mice, rats, 100 years, these old buildings. Why all of a sudden this thing is out there, and they're quarantining people in facilities. 18 Americans have tested positive, and they have them on lockdown. That 40% of the people die from this thing, they say.
Let's talk about it. Some of the symptoms are fever, muscle aches, fatigue, headaches, nausea, vomiting. Now, which angle do we want to talk about here? You got some people saying that the boat wasn't even, it was empty. They're saying the boat that was off the coast of Cape Verde was empty. And I'm even questioning the one guy that was on video saying that this is serious. We need help. We can't get off the boat. And I don't know. To me, it just felt like he was acting. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, because
my question is, if this is transmitted from the sources that you just said earlier, now all of a sudden it's human to human transmission. Why is these things evolve so quickly and they mutate so quickly?
Right.
Something that we really never heard of. I've never heard of it up until now. I'm gonna be honest. And all of a sudden this thing is the next big virus in the news, and it can be transferred from human to human. And some people can test positive and not show no symptoms for 6 to 8 weeks. That's a long time for someone to be walking around with this.
Right. Very long time. And I don't know, man. I think with anything else, man, you just gotta, when you're around crowds of people, the shaking of the hands, you just gotta be careful. When you're at the gym, you gotta be careful.
One of the things I'm leery of with this, this goes back to the COVID and how that allegedly got out into our population. Laboratory, doing experiment with animals. Sometimes nature's giving us a warning. Stop messing with nature. Stop taking these animals, doing these experiments with them. Is this nature's way of rebelling against us?
I don't know, man. I think it was created. I think COVID was created. I think Hantavirus has been created as well.
Well, there's definitely, I really think these viruses are man-made, only because we've been around for all these years, and now in the 21st century, these viruses are coming out that we've never heard of all these years. I mean, we had regular colds, we had the Spanish flu epidemic, But now these viruses are evolving, they're mutating. And this thing here, I'm curious to see where this thing goes right now. They're telling us not to be in a panic, but you know what? When you have to quarantine people,
right,
that don't sound good when you got to actually quarantine people
right,
in a government facility.
Shout out to Rosie McAllister, Bernadine, Suzanne. They were all on the live. They said, "Oh, taking a long break, huh?" Yeah, we apologize for that. We didn't mean to be gone that long, but sometimes conversations, you got to have them, number one. But yeah, this Hantavirus, man, I don't know what to expect of it, man. You know, I just think we got to have open minds. We got to stay aware of our surroundings. And yeah, man, just carry some of that sanitizer and just be careful out there. You know, COVID, I thought, was a joke in the beginning. I was making jokes about it. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, right. And then they shut everything down. And then I got serious about it. You know, I never thought I would wear a mask, but I wore a mask. And
well, one of the reasons you probably wore it, special going around your elderly mother to protect her, right?
Oh, most definitely.
That was
that was number one. Yeah. But you know, also for myself, because I didn't know how serious it was, and it was serious. But at the same time, I think there was I believe it was man-made, of course. There's just so many other areas of it that happened where I just had a lot of questions, like especially when they came out with COVID shots, different shots, and they were trying to get people to buy lottery. No, they were gonna, in order to take the shot, we'll give you $10 worth of lottery tickets. They was just trying to convince people to take the shot.
Remember,
that was a red flag for me.
One person won $1 million because they had the COVID lottery in the state of Massachusetts. So there was $1 million lottery for people that took the shot. They got to enter their name in the lottery.
They ever showed the person that won?
Yeah, they actually showed the person on television that won. Yeah, they took the COVID shot, entered their name in the lottery. So there was a lot of gimmicks, and I'm one of those people. I trust science and doctors because we were brought up that way. But in the last few years, as you get older, you start having questions about things,
Right. Yeah.
Because you find out that it's all a business.
Yeah, it's a business. Now, with the World Cup coming to Foxborough, there are some concerns about, people coming in from all over the country and perhaps bringing the virus here to Foxborough. There's some concerns about that. I don't know what to say other than just be careful when you're out in crowds. You just got to be careful. You can't ignore it, Now, the CDC says that it's nothing to worry about. That's what the CDC is saying.
But didn't they say that about COVID, Steve? Remember?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Remember in the early stages when they was like, "Oh, it's not a big deal," and then the next thing you know, Steve,
it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. So, we should all keep our eyes open. Like you said, you got to be careful again of big crowds. 18 people don't sound like a lot in this country right now, Steve, but these people are on lockdown. And how many people did they come in contact with?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you got to look. Every person, they say, comes in contact with 10 people. Those 10 people come in contact with people.
Yeah.
Getting on airplanes, they said that you have to worry about that. So, I think we just got to wait and see what's going on right now.
Yeah, we got to wait and see. So, yeah, just be careful when it comes to the Hantavirus, whatever you want to call it. It's a virus. It hasn't taken over yet, and we don't know what's going to happen with it, man. I don't know. But people do react with things they see on social media and in the news. So just take whatever precautions you got to take. I leave it at that. The Clarity Act, I spoke about it off mic earlier. The Clarity Act will give the banks clarity on what they can do with cryptocurrency. In other words, regulations for crypto is here. And they have regulations on it because it's obviously a moneymaker. If the banks are waiting for this act to pass, Now, there's some big news coming out this week in regards that it will pass the Senate. And at that point, it's game on when it comes to cryptocurrency. The thing that upsets me about this right now is people are going to wait for the regulations to come in instead of buying it and investing into it now while it's cheap. The game is not buy high and then sell higher. Buy low, make some money, and then sell when it's high later. That's how the rich get rich. I learned this years ago, right? Back in 2008, 2009, man, I learned the best time to buy, I say it all the time, is when the market is bad. It's the best time to.
Well, that's when wealthy people actually make their money.
Yep. On Wall Street, off of Wall Street, real estate, those they never fail in a bad market.
You know what, Steve? After living all these years and watching, I really believe that markets are actually, whether it's real estate or investments, the stock market, I really believe now that the market gets tanked to go down so the wealthy people could buy in, and then it goes back up again. I'm starting to believe that.
Yeah, I mean,
it goes in cycles.
Yeah.
And when it goes in cycles, just us regular investors, we pull out.
And that's the key to investing as well. You got to understand the cycle of investing, whether it's stocks or crypto. Crypto is a 4-year cycle, so you got to know which part of the cycle you're in so you can know where you're going with the investment. That's key. I taught, we talked about those things during the workshop, Someone asked me to do another one too, man, and I don't know. I might, maybe. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Clarity Act will be passing as a new bill, regulations under cryptocurrency. That's going to happen sooner than later. I promise you, probably within the next week.
Well, Steve, you continue to talk about the Clarity Act. That's basically when banks will regulate crypto, right?
Yeah, it's regulations. Yeah.
It's funny because I watch the Bloomberg channel in the morning, and that's all they keep mentioning, the Clarity Act.
Yep.
And you're the first person that mentioned the Clarity Act. I had never heard that word before.
And now they're talking about it on Bloomberg.
On Bloomberg, they're mentioning that every morning.
There you have it. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
I just want to let you know, Steve.
No.
Man, Bloomberg's mentioning the Clarity Act every morning. They're waiting for that to get passed, man.
Listen, folks. It's not too late to jump in that game. It's not too late, but it's going to be too late when you jump in when everybody else jump in. It's going to be too late then. It's going to be too late. I guess we're going to leave folks with that. You got anything else on your mind, man?
Just in the sports world before I go, our Celtics are out of the playoffs. There's rumors floating around that they're going to make a effort to trade
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. The Greek Freak is out there floating around. Milwaukee's going to trade him. And some people said we should trade Jaylen Brown for him straight up because their salaries are kind of match up. I'm not for trading Jaylen Brown. I don't know why everyone wants to trade Jaylen Brown every offseason.
The one thing I don't want them to do, don't listen to the media.
That's right.
Don't make your team based on what these so-called sportscasters say you should do. Don't do that.
I'm for that too, Steve.
They're good in getting coaches fired, but don't let them control your team.
Now, if you could add Giannis with Tatum and Brown, I'm all for it.
I'm all for that.
I don't know how that could go, but at the same time, I'm not trading Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown proved how good he could be playing by himself without Tatum this past season. And watching the NBA playoffs right now, I still think the Celtics should be in it. Well, that's a story for a different day.
Still can't believe
last night, Steve, LeBron James was eliminated. He's 41 years old. He'll be 42 when next season come around. Did he play his last game as a LA Laker? Will he retire? Will he go back to Cleveland? That's the $1 million question that's floating around.
He did play his last game as a Laker. I think he should retire, or at least go back to Cleveland and retire. I think he should do that.
I think
he made his mark in the league.
Yes.
I think it's, if anything, I think he hinders the team now, not because he can't play, is because he takes up space
Yes.
From other talents at this point. Whereas, I don't think they need his production anymore. His production is not needed to win games.
No.
So therefore, at that point, I think he should just retire, man. And
Yeah, because he's getting $50 million from the Lakers right now this last year.
And he's not going to come off the bench.
Can't no team pay him that type of salary at 41 years old. He still put up really good numbers. 23 points a game, 7-8 rebounds, 7-8 assists. Those are great numbers.
But you can get that from younger players too.
But is he willing to play a different role? Even if he went back to the Lakers, he's got to let it be Luka's team now. My feeling is he may end up back in Cleveland. I think the Cavaliers owner will definitely take a shot and bring him back.
Right.
I think he will be playing basketball next year.
I'm not mad at that.
I think he will be playing
I'm
basketball
not mad at
next year.
I just don't think his production
he can't be the featured guy in the offense anymore.
He definitely can't. He can't hog the ball.
I think he's got to be like the third option on offense. And I think he
should play a role, but I don't think he's going to do that.
No, his ego won't let him because he still thinks he could be the featured guy. And if he's willing to take a lesser role on a team, I think he could still be a big time contributor to a championship team.
Yeah.
But then is he hurting his legacy just chasing championships now?
I don't think he's chasing championships. He might say he is, but I don't think he is. I think he knows he's not going to get another ring.
Yeah.
On any other team and be a major contributor.
What else do he really have to accomplish besides just playing for the love of the game?
I don't think there's anything left for him to accomplish.
Being honest,
I think he's reached
the pinnacle,
his peak in terms of
numbers.
You can say what you want about him being better than Jordan. He's not. Definitely a top 10 player for sure.
Most definitely.
Definitely maybe even a top. Yeah, you could say he's a top 5.
Yes.
But nah, man. I think he's contributed everything he could to the game. And as far as production on any team, I just don't. I think he hinders a team nowadays based on how he plays. And that's why I don't think he's going to get
And also, Steve, the salary. If he's willing to go to a team, if you want to be honest, LeBron James could play for the veteran minimum now, which is about $5 million.
But he's too good for that. He's not going to.
He's not going to do that.
He's
exactly.
Too good for that.
So a team's going to have to fit him into the salary cap for him to play.
Yeah.
But I would like to see him retire. But like you said, the guy's in phenomenal shape. 41 years old. I think he's going to be back playing next year. And you know what, Steve? Let's be honest. The networks, they're still out there to make money. LeBron James is still a story in the NBA. Even at 41 years old, Steph Curry, LeBron James, there's still stories in the NBA.
Right.
So that's all about marketing,
Right.
But Steve, but that's about it for sports right now, man.
All right. Well, guess what? That's a wrap. We out of here.
All right.
Thank you, folks, for tuning in again.
Thanks again, Steve.
Now, thank you, Rich.
Yep.
All right, that's Rich Sports. We out, y'all. Enjoy the urban heat. R&B vibes.
In the daytime.
It wouldn't